The structure of this evening, we're going to have a short introductory statement from the candidates in a random order that was picked by staff in the office earlier today from a hat. And then I've got a randomised order in which I will call the candidates to speak, so that we're not in a situation where one candidate always follows the same other candidate. So I may not go to the person you're expecting me to go to, and there doesn't seem to be any logical order to it, but there is a fairness to it, just so you all understand how that's going. We did ask for some questions in advance, and I've got a few of those, so I'm going to call a couple of people to ask their questions they submitted in advance when we get to the questions phase. But I will let the candidates do their introductory statements first. So they've got 3 minutes each, at the end of which we will have a nice soothing sound to remind them to stop and So, if I could ask Matthew Bennett first.
Thank you very much, and thank you everyone who's given up their Friday evening to be here tonight. We've got in the Green Party a huge challenge in front of us. We're living in a planet, living in a global economy that's based on treating this planet as though it were a mine and a dumping ground, and treating billions of poorer people as though they were rubbish. It's not a situation we'd like to be in, but it's where we're starting now. What we have to tackle that are some real strengths. We have 13,000 committed members around England and Wales. We have great councillors. We've got great assembly members. We've got one great MP and 2 great MEPs. It's not much, but we've got to start. And what we have to do is really build on that start. And the reason why I'm standing for leader is I want to work with all of you, with those 13,000 Green Party members up and down the country, and the many who I hope will be joining us in the coming years, to really make a difference. Now, there's 3 main areas in which I think we have to move much faster, make a much bigger difference. First of all, we already have a radical, coherent vision of a different sort of a society, a different sort of economy. But at the moment, hardly anyone actually knows about it. We've got to do a much, much better job of selling that radical, coherent vision. We've got to take what's in the policies for a sustainable society and convert that into messages, convert it into leaflets, convert it into pages on the website, convert it into people up and down the country telling the story on doorsteps, in their local newspaper, all around the country. We've got a radical, coherent vision, and we need to deliver it. And that also means speaking up for lots of the people who don't usually get spoken up for. That means speaking up for migrants, speaking up for asylum seekers, speaking up for the disabled and benefit recipients who are being hugely demonised by the 3 largest parties. And we are the only people who are going to speak up for them, and we've got to speak loudly, clearly, and everywhere we possibly can. And we've got a natural environment that's just being pulverised, beaten into the ground. Camden Green Party this week, we had a speaker from Frack Off about fracking and the dreadful damage they're threatening to do to the British countryside, to the whole natural environment and around the world. What we've also got to do is raise our electoral ambitions. We need many more councillors, many more MPs and many more MEPs. So we've got to move our way forward. And to achieve that, we can't just say we want more. We've got to achieve a party fit for purpose. In the West Midlands, they've been making great strides. They won every target seat in May. They've got a model of the whole region working together as a team. And that's what I'd ask you to do, to make me your first choice for leader, and together as a team, we can really make a difference for the Green Party. Thank you very much.
The economic and environmental crises are 2 sides of the same coin. Neither exists independently of the other. And our policies, the Green Party of England and Wales, point forward to a way for a just transition, for a sustainable future, and a more equal society. Environmentalists, trade unionists, socialists should see the Green Party of England and Wales as a natural home. Now, I'm standing on a ticket with Councillor Will Duckworth, who's from Dudley, for those of you who don't know, and he's been responsible for a fantastic targeting strategy in a Labour heartland to increase the fundraising and increase the electoral successes there in his region. And we are working together because we share eco-socialist values and because we think we need to work hard to build on the two strategic pillars for the party. One of them is to invigorate our campaigning spirit, which I think perhaps has been lost a little bit along the way, and it's certainly been under a lot of pressure during this last 2 years of the condemned government. And the second is to make sure that we have smartly targeted electoral successes continuing around the country. Now, I believe that if we are to put more resources behind our campaigning round the country, that we will attract more people to the party. We may even find that we activate some of the membership that we already have and make them more effective. That will feed in to the electoral successes that we're beginning to see. As Natalie says, we are going to have a very, very difficult job over the next few years because Labour is soaking up all of the voters who are against this condemned government. I want to put the Green Party of England and Wales at the heart of the battle against austerity, because I believe by standing with those who are struggling, the majority who are struggling, the most vulnerable who are struggling already, the disabled, those struggling who are in full-time work, who need housing benefits, we need to stand with people on the urgent issues of the day and to explain to them our alternatives, which include 1 million climate jobs, which include bringing us to a low-carbon future, jobs rich, tackling the economy, tackling ecology together and leading towards a more equal society.
So let's go.
Okay, I'm Pippa Bartolotti. I believe everything we have done in the Green Party has prepared us for this moment. Our policies are ready, our people are ready, and I'm certainly ready. Banks, corporations and governments all over the world have been pimping the planet for too long. The IPCC stated just 2 weeks ago that we may have only 10 years left to reverse the trend of climate change. Where in the news is Tuvalu, Kiribati? Where is the salination of the Nile Delta, the drought in Mexico? I'm not seeing it yet. If you go out on the street and talk to folk, they know climate change is here. This is our agenda. But no one's going to give it to us on a plate. We have to go out and we have to grasp it. And to do that, Greens have to change pace. Business is just beginning to get it about green industries being profitable. The banks may one day get it about morality. But only the Greens understand the social agenda which can truly change the way things are done. Green policies provide the natural glue which binds the environment to the people. We support unforced choices, greater equality and the overwhelming benefits of a citizen's income. And this can bring us man to reintegrate back with nature. Government has to stop pimping the planet and it has to stop pimping the people. To get this message right across the country, Greens have to turn round and face outwards. Every one of us is a spokesperson. Every single party member is a spokesperson, and we all have a big part to play. We have all got to engage everyone around us. believe me, if we don't engage non-Greens quickly, everything's going to be lost because there is so little time and it's never been so important. Caroline's going to be a tough act to follow. But I do have different strengths. For example, I understand the hard choices that businesses have to make. I can communicate from a position of knowledge and of experience. I've got good instincts. I'm an optimist. And I believe time is running out for the environment and the economic structures attempting to support us. And this makes me mad. I'm the unreasonable green. But when you're up against 3 shades of blue, being green feels really good.
Thank you.
Thank you, London, for organising these events. Just I'd like to say it's very inspiring to hear what the other panellists have to say. I was worried about which way my second preference was going to go. Now I'm worried about which way my first preference was going to go. I have to really have a think. Excellent. And there's nothing there that the other panellists have said that I would disagree with. There's some fantastic strengths we've got about the party, but that isn't what I wanted to start off telling you about. I think if you want to elect somebody as leader, you need to know what makes them tick. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me, and hopefully during the questions we'll get a chance to talk about the policy. As you might be able to tell from the accent, I was brought up in Scotland. I think I've still got a hint left. And I was brought up in what back in those days was a mixed marriage. My father was of Catholic Irish descent, and my mother was an English Protestant, which was about the worst thing that you could be in Scotland if you were going into the Irish Catholic community. And you know, my granny didn't speak to my mother for 3 years after my father got married to her. It was that kind of you know, divide. And I think that explains why I've got such a strong kind of move towards anti-sectarianism, anti-racism. You know, it's part of my upbringing. So, you know, you'd walk home from school and, you know, up until the age of 11 I wore a uniform that said, you are Catholic, you go to the Catholic school. And sometimes you'd be walking home from school and it'd be me, my little brother, and you'd get attacked by lads much older than you for one simple reason. You're wearing a uniform that says you're Catholic. Now, when I was 11, I took that uniform off. Nobody can look at me and say, oh, your upbringing's Catholic. But I know what that feels like. And I know that's why I'm so passionate in campaigning against racism. So you know about my background, you know about the 2009 election in the Northwest. I moved to England and when I was young, 12 years old. And when I first moved down to England, we moved into a street where the majority of the families were non-white. We were immigrants too. Where I went to school, the people I hung around with were Siobhan, Ishraq, Dudley. They were non-white. And they were the commonalities that I had. And we were the kids whose parents were struggling. We were the kids who, when the school trip came along, actually we went home to our parents saying, no, I don't want to go. And that's what it's like for a lot of kids today. They're struggling. We hear a lot about young people and the fact that they are you know, letting us down and that they're out of control. There's a lot of young people here today that have got responsibilities that they don't, that weigh heavily on them. And that's the society that we're in today, and that's what I want to fight for. I want to fight for equality. I want to fight for a fairer, juster society. So that's saying where I come from. I'm also an active trade unionist, and my main aim, if I'm elected leader, is to broaden our appeal, to make us a party that communicates to many more communities, to many more people in Britain today. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the candidates for those introductory statements.